I am condemned to death. He looked at me with blank, grey stare of a man who denies responsibility and knows it a hollow denial. "Take him," he said, and washed his hands. And I knew that this was part of my Father's plan for you. And so I began my way of death, a way of life for you. I shoulder my cross. The crossbeam was heavy and rough, grinding into the wounds of the scourge. The soldiers were rough, yet not unkind, a job to do, to finish quickly. The jeers of the elders seemed uneasy. Did they perhaps dimly realize that this was a higher and purer triumph? Through the haze of pain I murmured, "For those you have given me, Father, for you." I fall under its weight. The crossbeam grew heavier, the weight doubling me over. I struggled to look ahead, to stumble forward, and tripped against a stone and fell. "Father, take this chalice." No, I must continue this way from death to life. I lay there, my Father's strength returning, and then they dragged me to my feet, and I continued on my way for you. I meet my mother. I looked up and knew that she had been there from the beginning. She walked beside me on the way. No words were said, none were needed. She had always been there, from the real beginning when she had accepted my Father's will. Her eyes showed love and understanding that I must do this for you. Simon of Cyrene helps me. His name was Simon, like my Simon, a rough but kind man. The soldiers hustled him from the crowd, ordered him to bear the beam with me. He protested, and I looked at him, and saw the fear and resentment change to a stern pity and a strong love. And he took the brunt of the heavy beam, and I stumbled on, for him and for you. Veronica comforts me. Her pity was real, and ignoring the soldiers' startled curses, she took the edge of her veil and wiped the blood and sweat away. Her touch was gentle as she looked at me, and in that moment she saw who I was, as often as you do this to one of my little ones. She knew she was giving her love for me as I was walking this way of love for her, for you. I fall again. Perhaps the pause was too long. I tried to drag myself along the way, but my strength was flagging and I fell. They were, in their way, kind men, but this was not a duty they liked, and cursing they dragged me up and on, eager to be finished. I stumbled on, for you. The women of Jerusalem. I could hear them weeping, and my vision cleared a moment and I saw them, not professional mourners, but women filled with a confusion of love and fear. Their sorrow was real and born of love, but with it was a fear, perhaps that someone had been rejected. I did not reject them, nor you. Too much. Let me die here, Father. This is enough. The great tempter never gives up, but as I lay beneath the beam that had crushed me to the stony path again, I knew my Father's will, and I tried to rise. Simon's strong arms gripped me, gently lifting, and I remembered my Father's word, "Do not be afraid. I am with you," as I went to give myself for you. The scoffer's gaze. Calvary Hill is high and steep for a man with the burden I carried. Not just the beam, but the burden of your sin I bore out of love. There, alone on the hilltop, I stood, ridiculous, stripped of the little dignity left me. The jeering grew louder, raucous, as though the very demons were rejoicing. I waited to die for you. On the cross. They flung me down, and with swift, efficient blows hammered my wrist to the crossbeam. They then dragged the beam, and me, upright and up and up and up the trunk to drop tearingly into its socket. I hung there between earth and heaven, pain, shattered and blind with the mist of death, fulfilling my Father's will for you. I give my life for you. Father, into your hands. All my life here on earth has been the message of trusting my Father, doing the good that is His will. And now I said and did it with completeness. Father, into your hands. These whom you love, though they may not know it, I offer to you. Love them, forgive them. And so I have myself for you. In my mother's arms. With love they lifted my body down and placed it in my mother's arms. Sorrow she felt, but not despair. She knew that this had to be, for greater love than this no man has, that he laid down his life for his friends. She mourned for the blind injustice of man, hoped for the resurrection glory of God. She knew this had to be, and would, for you. The end. The Arimathean gave his tomb for me, and my body was laid there. The stone rolled against the entrance, awaiting the resurrection. My friends acted numbly, in grief and confusion, not daring to hope. The stone rolled against the entrance seemed to them the final word of a life given in sacrifice to death for you. And the beginning. The stone was not the final word. The final word still resounds in your world. I conquered death. I am risen, I am risen, I am here. I came to my mother, answering her hope. To my friends Peter and John, giving them courage. To Mary Magdalene, confirming her love to those on the road to Emmaus and to all my friends, strengthening, encouraging, loving, being with them. I am with you now. I am risen here in your life. My living this life, walking this earth, the suffering, injustice and death, all shouting my love for you. My resurrection, my triumph, my glory, shouting that I am your courage, your hope, your strength. I have never gone away. I am here now for you.